Last Friday. Okay, back to Purim. So yesterday we discussed Tainus Esther with a half a shekel and so on. Okay, tonight, now we're going to talk about, so Mincha and Tainus Esther this coming Monday is already Tainus Esther. So it's Monday morning, there's Slichas, it's a fast day, so there's Slichas, there's Avinu Malkeinu, there's Torah reading. Before Mincha, there's Machzas HaShekel, like we discussed. At Mincha, there's no Tachnun, because it's out of Purim in the afternoon. So Erev Purim, there's no Tachnun. Now, as far as the dinim of Purim, there's not too many days left to be able to do this. Just the practical dinim of Purim. Now, there's a number of mitzvahs on Purim. The first mitzvah needs to be done is Kriyas HaMegillah, reading the Megillah. Now, the reading of the Megillah is an obligation on every single man and woman. Children also for educational purposes. But every man and woman has to hear the Megillah both by night and by day. What a lot of people are unaware of, according to Halacha, the day reading is more important than the night reading. Now, let's say a person only can go to one of the two. Halachically, they should go to the day reading. They have to go to both. But I'm saying the day reading halachically is more important than the night reading. Now, when you read the Megillah, the best thing is to do it in a public place because Reiv Am Hadras Melech, when you have a lot of people, it's glorifying the king. So, when you hear the Megillah, you have to listen to every single word of the Megillah. If you miss one word of the Megillah, you're not yet to the reading of the Megillah. So what do you do when the Balkari reads? He has to make sure that everybody is listening and there's no noise. And when they bang Haman, he waits until everybody stops banging the Haman, because everybody has to listen to every single word. Now what happens if you miss a word? Whatever, you were dreaming, or whatever, you're banging Haman, and you missed a word. So the din is, you could read it in your Chumash or Megillah book. You're allowed to read that private word, the word that they missed. The only problem is, the Megillah must be read in proper sequence. If the Megillah is read out of sequence, then it's also no good. So what happens when you listen to the Megillah, listening is like saying it, okay? So if you're reading from a kosher Megillah, and you know how to read the Megillah, you can read along together with the reader, with the Balkari. If you're reading from a Chumash or a Megillah book, in other words, not a kosher Megillah, you're not allowed to read along together with the Balkari, because you can't talk and listen at the same time. So then you should not read along with the reader, with the Balkari, but you should just listen to every single word. Now, if you missed a word, so what do? So you have to say the word you missed, and the next few words that you catch up to the Balkari. Okay, so let's say you missed a word, so you have to quickly say that word in the next, let's say, 4 words, because meanwhile he's reading also ahead. You have to go quicker than him and catch up to the word where the Balkari is at, and then you can continue listening to the Balkari, because now you, again, and then you didn't read it out of sequence. Up to after Megillah, you're allowed to read in a non-kosher Megillah. So if you miss a word here or there, so you just, again, quickly say that word plus the next few words until you catch up to the reader, and then you stop and you listen and continue listening to the Megillah. What?
So if you had a choice, you can only do one, between the night and the day.
Halachically, you have to do the day one.
Even though this is the mitzvah that comes first?
Yeah, but it's a more important mitzvah. It's not a question of first or second. It's a question of the more important one. Uh-huh. Doesn't, you do the more important one first. See that by Tainus, what you were saying, Gedalia and Yom Kippur also. What?
If you miss a word from the Megillah, what keeps you up here in the Megillah over?
If you never caught up to the words and you just never said them.
What if there's no way you can go as fast as the Chazan?
What?
What if there's no way you can go as fast as the Balkari?
That's what the Balkari doesn't. It's not supposed to go so fast by the main readings.
So if you know you can't follow, you can't go as fast, you should
Yeah, but if you miss a word, then you have a problem. You only read when you miss the word, not stamazay. If you have even if you have a kosher Megillah, but you can't read as quick as the Balkari reads it, then you can't read along with the Balkari. Because you're going to make mistakes that would invalidate mistakes in the Megillah that change the meaning of the word, then you have to correct it. If it's Mordechai and Mordechai, the difference is just in the trop. If it's the end of a pasuk, it's Mordechai. If it's a snacht, it's Mordechai. Otherwise, Mordechai. But that doesn't change the meaning of the word. But if you have the word Yoshev and you read it Yoshav, that's past and present. So that changes the meaning of the word.
When it's written that way, then the Megillah is not kosher.
No, it's the Megillah is written by the way Yud Shin Beis, but you read it Yoshev, not Yoshav. But I'm saying if the guy has a Megillah and he doesn't know it, then he says Yoshav, so then it wasn't a kosher. He made a mistake in a word that changes the meaning of it. The Megillah itself is the most lenient of all things in the kashrus of the Megillah. That's why Safrim, when they begin writing Safras, they write a Megillah. Because the Megillah is the least halachic importance as far as all the minor details. The Megillah you can erase, you don't have to write it in order. It doesn't have Hashem's name. But no, I'm saying something else. A lot of Safrim, when they start writing a Megillah, they'll write from the end going backwards. Why? Because when you go by a Megillah, you want to see if it's a nice writing, where do you look? You open up the Megillah, you look at the beginning. Right? You don't look at the end. You look at the beginning if it's a nice writing, right? Now if a guy's practicing, at the end of the Megillah, the writing's not going to be as neat as all the experience he has from writing the whole Megillah. Right? So the beginning is going to look nicer than the end. Understand? So, but again, the Megillah doesn't have to be written in sequence. You have to read it in order. If you read the Megillah backwards, you're not Yaitse.
Should you make a point of reading it from Megillah? Some people they insist they want to read it from Megillah.
Yeah, but again, that's only if they're acquainted with the words and the trop. Because again, they can mess it up.
So you just, if you follow, should you...
If you follow, and again, you know how to read the Megillah, then you could say the words. If you don't know how to read the Megillah, it's probably better not to read along because, again, you're going to make a mistake that you're not listening to the Balkari doing it.
I'm referring to people that are following the parchment.
Yeah, so unless if you know how to read the Megillah, you should just follow, not read along.
Yeah, but from a booklet, is it...
Booklet, for sure, you can only follow.
Well,
Listen.
So the deaf person cannot fulfill this mitzvah?
He's not obligated.
Or he's not obligated?
If he can't hear, how can he be obligated? Well, he can't hear. What's he supposed to do? Sign language chauffeur? I mean, he can do it maybe, huh?
He knows how to
If he's able to speak, so then he could speak. But again, he doesn't hear what he's saying, unless if he does. You know what I mean? So yeah, you have to hear it.
So Chabad doesn't go to deaf houses?
I don't know. What? What? I'm sure there is. I know people read it from people in the shows that read Ruth read it from a kosher Megillah. They don't make a bracha. Yeah. Okay, anyway, so that's very important that when you listen to the Megillah, you have to hear every single word, and if you miss a word, you have to say the word and catch up right away. Another din is that on Purim, it says in Shulchan Aruch, it's preferable to wear Shabbos clothing. Because the Purim is actually a Yom Tif. It's called Yemei Sasin V'Simcha, it's actually a Yom Tif. So you're supposed to wear Big Day Shabbos on Purim. Now, halacha in Shulchan Aruch it also says that after the, I mean, we always, a lot of shuls have it anyway, but it says in Shulchan Aruch that when you go home after the Megillah, you should have like candles lit, no bracha, just candles lit and a festive atmosphere at home. Because, it's a festive time. You should have a meal, not to be yaitz the meal of Purim, because you can't do any of the mitzvahs at night.
Time says there also,
What?
first Shabbos day?
No, for night of Purim. Tainus Esther, though, it's interesting. Tainus Esther is not a sad day. It's like, same Gedai is a sad day, Asar V'Tev is a sad day. All that has to do with the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash. So there's a concept of mourning. Tainus Esther's fast, number one, is the only fast not mentioned in the book, in Tanakh, like we said yesterday, that you have to fast. And it's not a sad day. It's not a day of mourning, Tainus Esther.
Why do we fast?
Because he fasted then. It's called tradition. You ever hear that? Tradition, it's called.
We need too much on Purim.
And Kippur is also a Saturday.
It's not a sad day. In the Hasidic world, Yom Kippur is a happy day. Because we know Hashem forgives us. On that day, the essence of the Jew is revealed. What other day of the year do you have the essence of the Jew by every single Jew is revealed? You know?
So pregnant women don't fast.
No, pregnant women don't fast, nursing women don't fast, people that have medical issues don't fast. No, I'm saying it's the easiest of all the fasts, halachically.
60 and over don't fast.
Huh? 120 plus, when you're accompanied with an adult, with a parent, then you don't have to fast. Okay, so after this you go and have a Suda, you wear Big Day Shabbos, okay. Now, it's later, but like we said, everybody is obligated to listen to the Megillah. Now, there's also different customs. There's a custom of banging Haman, making noise when Haman's name is mentioned. What is that based on? Halacha, it says it's based on the pasuk that says, Shem Rishoim Yurkev. The names of the wicked should rot. Like Machit Timcha Zecher Amalek, In many shuls they take a bang by Machit Timcha Zecher Amalek. We don't, but we bang by Haman in the Megillah. Some people bang every Haman. Our custom is only when Haman is mentioned with the title. Like Haman Agagi, Haman Ben Amdasa Agagi, whatever. Haman Azeh. When there's a title added, an adjective added to Haman, so then we bang. Otherwise we don't bang by the Hamans. But it says you have to be very careful, because if you keep banging, you're going to miss what the Balkari is saying. So then again, you have a problem listening to the Megillah properly. So the Balkari has to wait until everybody stops and then continue. Okay, to be continued.